So if you only have 30 minutes and you want to target your core, but you also want a full body workout, I have an intense 30-minute total body Pilates workout for you today. Hi, my name's Mariah. I'm the owner of Wealthy Boss, and if you like free barre, Pilates, and yoga workout videos, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button below and that little bell notification. Meanwhile, I would love to know who I'm working out with, so go ahead and also drop a comment below with your name so that I can get to know you. Now let's get started. We're going to start in a high kneeling position on our mats. The wider that you take your knees, the more stable that you're going to feel. But on the other hand, if you want to challenge your balance a little bit more, you could take the knees closer together. And making sure the tops of the feet are on the mat, you're going to take those arms out in front of you and get really strong in your waistline as you start to hinge back. So you keep that super flat back and then use those quadriceps to pull you back up. Good, so we'll keep this going. Now note that this can be a pretty intense thing for those quadriceps. If your quads are tight, this could feel a little bit funny on your knees, or also if you have knee problems, then you would just want to adjust how far back you go in order to make this feel comfortable and keep your knees happy. Ooh, it doesn't take much to feel those quadriceps turn on. Awesome. So with our Pilates breath, we breathe in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. Let's do 2. Here's 1. And lifting up tall, we're going to take that right elbow over towards the right wall. Drawing back towards center. Deep breath here, other side. So we're thinking about lifting not only on the side that's lengthening, but also the side that we're hinging towards. So we think about lifting up and over as we take that lateral flexion. So good for working the sides of your waist and also for keeping your spine nice and healthy by moving side to side instead of just forward and back. Good, nice audible Pilates breath here. Let's do 2. Last one. Good, and now we're going to come all the way down on 2 different versions that you can do your tricep dips. Version number 1 is going to be to take your fingertips towards you and keep those knees bent, coming up into a reverse tabletop. From here, you would take a bend in those elbows and then straighten back up. Bend the elbows, straighten back up. Now, if you wanted to up the ante, you would take those legs completely long, so you're now in what we think of as a reverse plank. Whew, not so easy right off the bat. Good, so you're getting some bonus core if you're taking this version of it. But mainly we should be feeling this in the back of our arms and our triceps. So good, just lower down as far as you feel like you can stay in control. The aim of the game is to go super slow and steady. Pilates is all about refinement of movement and precision of control rather than fast movement or how low or how far you go into the pose. We want quality work, not quantity. Let's do 2 more. Perfect. We're gonna flip over now, coming up into a set of push-ups. So coming into our plank pose, we can either be with our knees covered, or we can at any point come down onto the knees. We're gonna take the elbows out to the side for this set of push-ups. So the emphasis here is on keeping the belly lifted. There's no bend in hips. We're feeling the belly, we're feeling the backs of the shoulders, we're feeling the chest. So good. So just using our own body weight to create that wonderful functional resistance that helps our bodies move more gracefully, more safely, more fluidly through everyday activity. Good, keep this going, you can do it. Here's 3, 2, 1, press back up. Now we're gonna hold at the top. So we're not done here. Of course, you can come down and take a break anytime you need, but we're gonna keep the movement going for those of us who choose to. We're holding this plank. And if you wanted a little more, try hovering first your right arm and then your left leg lifts off the ground. Oh yeah. Maybe it's just for a second at a time. That's cool. We're going to take it a little bit longer on this side. Make sure you're still breathing. Don't forget about that. Super important. And then let's take it over to the other side. Whew. Yes, make sure those hips aren't sagging at this point. If you feel yourself getting tired, you're still pressing up in that space between your shoulder blades, and then we're lifting opposite arm and leg. Perfect. Let's slowly lower down to a count of 10, 9, 8, what? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now from here, I want you to sweep those elbows in towards the side of the body. We're going to do that same push-up now in reverse to that slow count of 10. So I want you to remember that you can always take your knees down to the ground and still get great work. So we're coming up for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Come all the way back down. Let's find a child's pose. So remember, today is a fairly intense Pilates practice. Make sure we're getting the most bang for our buck, but we're still moving mindfully with precision and control. Good. Now let's rock forward here. We're going to come all the way onto our belly as we come into our swimming. So extending arms and legs overhead and behind you. We're going to pick the belly button up off the ground, but keep the hips low on the ground. We're going to paddle opposite arm and leg as though we were swimming in the ocean. Perhaps you start to take your breath pattern in 2 inhales, 2 exhales. So it would sound something like this. So keep that breath pattern going as you swim. Imagine yourself swimming in your favorite beach. This breath pattern that we're activating is causing the abdominals to work a little bit harder here. We're also oxygenating the body, powering up that movement. Keep it going. And let's melt all the way down. Good. Let's press back into child's pose, or what we would call shell pose in Pilates, and then come up to kneeling. Water break time. So if you're still with me, you deserve some recognition. As you grab that quick sip of water, go ahead and drop a comment with the word Pilates so I know you're in it with me. More side body work now. We're going to head into our side plank. Today we're going to take our side plank with the forearm on the ground. So you're going to line that elbow up right under the shoulder and then lift those hips up. So you've got choices with those feet. You can take one foot in front of the other. This is going to help you feel a little bit more stable. Or for an added balance challenge, you could stack those feet one on top of the other. So we're holding here, we're holding the pose, but we are not holding our breath. Let's keep that going. Remember that deep Pilates inhale through the nose. Exhale like you're blowing out through a little cocktail straw through the mouth. Keep it going. Maybe we find some little hip dips here. So as we take those hip dips, let's make sure we're still really anchoring down with that elbow, drawing shoulder away from the ears so that we're very active with that shoulder girdle. Here's 3. Here's 2. 1, pause here. Now, if you wanted to add on, of course you could take a break, but if you wanted to keep going, we're going to lift that top knee, point it up to the sky as we come into our développé. And then extend with pointed toe out, flex the foot and lower. So we find the knee, or passe, extend the leg, flex the foot and lower. It's a 3-part movement. Now make sure those hips are still lifting. Avoid that temptation for them to start sagging here. You are so strong. So good. Let's do 3. Woo. 2. Last one, and let's come all the way down onto your side. Perfect. Now we're going to stay on the same side, but we're going to mix it up just a little bit. So you're going to take your head into your hands. The top arm can either come onto the ground, but if you do that, I want to make sure your heart is nice and open as opposed to having your chest rounding over. Hand can also come to the hip for a little bit more balance challenge. And if this bugs your hip at all, feel free to double up the mat underneath your hip or to place a towel or a little pillow underneath. From here, we're gonna lift both legs. So we're bolting those legs together, lifting them both up to the sky. So we're gonna feel a little bit of side body work here, or a lot, I should say. And then lower back down. Lift, lower back down. Lift it up strong. Last time here, but the top leg is going to pause. Bottom leg now lowers down, top leg stays where it is, and then lift that bottom leg up to meet the top. Lift, lift, lift. Make sure you're still breathing. Maybe even a little bit of a smile on your face. Make it look easy. And come down. Fantastic. We're gonna flip around over to the other side. It'll feel good to be done with that side. We're starting with that side plank, coming into that forearm side plank. Remember your options with your feet. You can have the one foot in front of the other, or for more balanced challenge, you can have those feet stacked. We're holding that side plank. And now, whenever you're ready, start to add little hip dips. So we're sinking and lifting strong, sinking, lifting strong. Remember, you're still actively pressing the ground away with that elbow so that you remain strong in the shoulder. Getting some bonus stabilization in that shoulder area. So nice. Keep that steady breath fueling this movement. Good, you got 5 more seconds here. Good, finishing up. Let's now come into that développé. So we're gonna take the knee into a passe, so the knee points up to the sky, toes towards the knee. Point the leg high and then flex and lower. So it's 3, 2, 1. The flex and lower is all one movement. 3, 2, 1. Now remember, those hips are staying exactly frozen in space. Just like we were little and when we played freeze tag, the rest of your body is frozen. It's just that top leg that's moving. This is so, so good. You can do this. We're gonna be here a little bit longer. Take a break if you need, but you are stronger than you realize. So find where that edge is for you today and then honor that edge. Every day is different. Good, last 2, 1. It's time to come down onto the side, supporting that head into the hand. Remember, option for that top arm, it can either be on the ground with heart shining forward, shoulder stacked, or a little bonus challenge would be to take the hand to the hip, but that's pretty tough. Lift both legs, so your 2 legs work as one. Lower, lift, 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 lower. Yes, you got it. Now, I don't care how high you lift, I just care that you're working at your best for today. Honestly, I just even care that you're showing up here today. That's what makes me happiest of all. Some days we have good days, some days we have bad days, but when we keep showing up, it's all good. It's all a win. Now we're gonna pause with that leg on the top, bottom leg joins to the top. Lift, 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 lift. About 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. We're gonna roll onto our backs now, and I'm gonna demonstrate this first, so you might wanna watch me before you roll down, because how we execute our Pilates roll up is really gonna make a big difference into whether or not we get the benefit from the work. So again, remember, Pilates is all about precision and control, not the end objective of completing a big movement. With our we can start, well, you can start from lying down or sitting up. I'll just demonstrate from sitting up. We're gonna start by drawing the belly button into our C curve as we lower 1 vertebra at a time. It starts off pretty easy. Now here's the thing, there's gonna be this point where you feel a little stopping point where your abs wanna let go of control. We're gonna see at that point if we can pull our abdominal muscles in instead of out. So there's this temptation for them to kind of pop out here, but we're gonna try to pull them in.
just like we were trying to squeeze into our skinny jeans or we were walking by someone in our bikini. And that's going to help facilitate the deeper layer of muscles, the transverse abdominis underneath, to really get stronger and find that continuous flow down onto the mat. From here, arms extend behind us, big inhale at the bottom. Exhale, and we find that roll up, but we go super, super slow. Now, yes, of course, if I were to use momentum there and swing my arms up, then of course I would get to the top, but that does not mean that my abdominals would have been worked, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So if this is too tempting for you to have to use that momentum, and you find it a little bit frustrating trying to get all the way down and up, then we can practice top half first, so drawing belly in. You just roll down until you feel that point where you're about to lose control, and then peel back up one vertebrae at a time. So you would practice that, and then come all the way down to the bottom, practice the bottom. So I'll give you the halfway heads up in case you're practicing half at a time, so that you can switch from top half to bottom half if that's the case. But otherwise, I'm gonna be doing the full roll-ups. We sit up nice and tall. And then start to squeeze that belly in as we feel those vertebrae almost separating, rolling down towards that mat. Keep the breath going. I like to take 2 or 3 breaths all the way to get down, and then 2 or 3 breaths all the way up. Good. So remember, especially think when you're getting to that sticking point right at that middle section, that we pull the abdominals in instead of letting them pop up. That's the rectus abdominis wanting to fight, to take control, but we want those deeper muscles underneath to work through transverse abdominis. This is so nice. Whew, good. Slow and steady. Now we're about halfway through, so if you were practicing just the top half, now would be a great time to practice that bottom half. And the roll-up is a really great way to gauge your progress over time. So I encourage you to take this workout again and again. It's safe to do 2 days in a row, but if you can at least do it two to 3 times a week, you're going to be noticing a huge difference in a matter of probably just a few weeks of how low you get in your roll-up or how high you get before you have to have some assistance, if you're not already there yet. Good. So those feet remain on the ground the whole time. That's an important part of this. So if those feet started to pop up, it can help you out. I would rather you have your feet on the ground and practice the top half and then the bottom half so that you really learn the proper muscles to engage than to try to cheat your way to the end result. Because the end result is not completing the roll-up, let's be honest. The end result is having really strong abdominals. That's the objective. Good, let's take 2 more. So focused. Fantastic. From here, we're going to come all the way down onto our back, moving into our double leg stretch. So from here, you're going to draw both knees into your chest, and then extend those arms behind you and send legs out long in a diagonal. Good. So, and then we're just going to sweep that into one fluid motion. So catch, release, catch, release. Make sure you're breathing steadily through that deep Pilates. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. This is so good for you. If you're feeling a little achy in your low back, or you're feeling that this is a bit too much of a strain after all that work we did, then you could take the legs a little bit higher on the diagonal, and that might feel a little bit nicer. We want to keep the back really flat on the ground here so the abdominals are doing the work. So we start to lose the benefit if the arch of the back comes off the ground. So that would be an indication to take those legs a little bit higher if that's the case. Fantastic. Let's do 2 more, shall we? Perfect. Good, hugging those knees into the chest, please. We're gonna extend both legs over the hips now. Arms are gonna come out wide to help counterbalance. Now, keeping both shoulders on the ground, that's our condition that we're gonna have to promise and commit to. Both shoulders stay on the ground. Let's take those legs over towards the right. We're gonna take them as far as they'll go without hitting the ground and without letting the opposite shoulder lift up. And then here it comes, big exhale, take those legs back towards center. We'll find it on the other side. Again, as you probably guessed by now, there's a theme. We're taking these very slow. So with cardio work, of course, the goal is often to go faster to get the benefit. With strength training, it's just the opposite. The slower we go, the more our muscle fibers are under contraction, so the more benefit there is as a general rule. Whew, so nice. So we're now working that rotation. We're activating the oblique muscles along the sides of the waist. Good. Let's do one more each side, making sure you're balanced on each side, please. Fantastic. Let's draw everything back in, please. Coming into our bridging, let's start with just a couple of pelvic tilts to make sure that our spine is in correct alignment. So from here, we're gonna inhale, drawing belly in as we flatten the arch of the back down onto the mat. Exhale without yet lifting your hips, so your bottom is still on the ground. I'm gonna have you lift the arch of your back, exaggerating that arch, just like a little drawbridge lifting up. And then inhale, pull the belly in, flatten the arch. So we're just here learning how to get control over that pelvic girdle. Good. Now next time that you flatten your back down onto the mat, we're gonna have you start to lift one vertebrae at a time up off the mat, lifting those hips up into your bridge pose. And a quick little caveat, if you do have any type of spinal conditions like osteoporosis or spondylitis, even like a ruptured or herniated disc, it's best for you to just lift your hips and ribs at the same time as opposed to curling up one vertebrae at a time. Otherwise, if it feels nice, you can lift one vertebrae at a time. Continuing to breathe here, of course. Hips are high, ribs are low. Strong, steady breaths here. And then let's lower down slowly. So again, one vertebrae at a time, unless you have a reason where it'd be better to hinge, but with still slow motion. We are working the muscles in our glutes, our hamstrings, our low back. We're lengthening the front of the body. So good for us. All right, let's do that again. Taking those hips nice and high. Now from here, we're gonna add on one leg at a time. Could you extend the right shin so that your knees are still parallel? You're not yet reaching up to the sky. So you're extending that toe towards the wall in front of you, keeping hips level as you do that, and then take that down, take it over to the other side. So we're alternating here, but our main goal is to keep the hips level. So they have this temptation to kind of want to dance or dip side to side as we shift those legs. Our primary focus here is on how level we keep those hips. Try to keep them, again, in that game of freeze tag. Perfect. All right, you could stay here. You could take a break, or if you wanted a little bit more challenge, keep those hips lifted. Take the right leg now all the way up to the sky. So this time the knees come apart. The right knee is right above the hip, right ankle right above the knee. Pulling that toe up to the sky, keeping those hips lifted and level. We're gonna draw a tiny, tiny circle on the ceiling with that toe. Now again, those hips wanna stay level because we wanna make sure that we're stabilizing that pelvis. This is so good for strengthening your pelvic floor. Good, use your breath to guide this circle. So inhale to start the circle, exhale to bring it in. Now let's reverse direction with those circles. Good, keep those hips lifted and level, please. And take that leg down, and ooh, you can take a break, or I know we've been here forever, or we can take that left leg now up to the sky. So pointing the toe, nice long lean leg, super small circle. We only want to take the circles as wide as we can go while still keeping those hips level. The wider we tend to take the circle, the more temptation for those hips to kind of wiggle and wobble. So we're keeping the circle nice and tight. Again, finding that inhale breath as we start, exhale to close. Let's reverse direction. 3, 2, 1. Now let's set that leg down. We'll roll down one vertebrae at a time. Belly button rolling up towards sternum, setting one bone down at a time. Amazing. Let's go ahead and pull those knees into the chest. Tailbone comes long as we start to come into our cool down. Every breath you feel those lungs expanding into the ribs, pressing those ribs in front of you, behind you, beside you. Taking a few more focused deep breaths here. Every exhale, belly draws in, releasing old air, making room for fresh oxygen and nutrients. Good. From here, taking soles of the feet together, knees flutter open like butterfly wings. You could even turn the palms face up here, just in the spirit of receiving. It's so important that we not only contract our muscles, but also learn how to relax them. Typically, relaxing them after we've contracted them is one of the best times to get that full benefit. So just doing a little scan of your body, noticing how you feel now as compared to when you started your practice. Let's draw those knees in towards each other again, hugging them in. Rocking yourself up to a seated position. I'm going to have you take your right hand down by the hips, and then left hand is going to reach across, reaching over towards that right wall. Anchoring that opposite hip heavy, lengthening the side body. We'll come up towards the center, take that over to the other side. Good, coming up tall now. Let's take a wide leg forward fold. So legs come out to the straddle, melting heart down. Being careful to keep the back of the neck long, resisting that temptation to let it droop. Breathing into it, and then pressing back up to seat.
Wow, so if you made it all the way through to the end, I definitely want to give you a virtual high five. So let's pop in the comments below with the words original planksta so I know that you finished. Now don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. And for my insider scoop on all things related to wellness lifestyle, plus a free beginner yoga lesson that you can't find here on YouTube, go ahead and sign up for email updates at wealthyboss.com/workouts. I can't wait to work out with you next time.